Welcome to the Watercolor Workshop, brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com. Introduction and Materials. What is the goal of this course? The goal of this course is to provide the learner with a comprehensive learning experience on watercolor painting. Instruction is delivered through concise and chronological modules that include videos and ebooks. At the conclusion of the course, the learner will have been exposed to a variety of watercolor painting materials, techniques, and subject matter. The student will be provided with a foundation for creating their own watercolor paintings with confidence and continued success. What will be covered in the modules of this course? Watercolor painting materials, surfaces, brushes, and tools. Forms of watercolor and watercolor characteristics. Preparing surfaces such as stretching watercolor paper. Preparing a palette. Application techniques. Color theory and color mixing. Applying color schemes to watercolor paintings. Creating strong compositions. Still life painting. Traditional landscape painting. We'll also take a look at cityscape painting, as well as portrait painting, including mixing skin tones. Masking techniques, including masking tape and liquid masking fluid. Watercolor pencils. Painting with gouache or opaque watercolor. And we'll also look at combining watercolor with other media. Let's take a look at a few of the materials and tools that we'll be using, starting with watercolor paints. We'll be using tube watercolors, which can be mixed on a palette, as well as gouache paints or opaque watercolor. Watercolor, of course, comes in many forms, including cake watercolors, which we'll take a look at as well. We'll be using tools for masking as well as applying the paint, including brushes and sponges. We'll use masking tape and liquid masking fluid. We'll also use an assortment of brushes from different types of hair, including nylon, sable, and goat hair. We'll use an assortment of brush shapes and sizes throughout the course. We'll also take a look at using C sponges for applying various textures. We'll also be using several different types of pencils, including an HB or 2H drawing pencil. We'll need a kneaded eraser, and I'll be using a manual pencil sharpener. We'll also take a look at using watercolor pencils. We'll also be using a variety of papers, a palette, and of course a support system. I like to use a plastic palette that has several small trays and a large area for mixing colors. For most demonstrations in this course, we'll be using Arches or Strathmore 140-pound watercolor paper, although any watercolor paper will be suitable for use. We'll also support our work. In my case, I'll be using a masonite board to do so. In the next module of this series, we'll take a closer look at the paint, the brushes, and the surfaces.